Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world of tomorrow. And by world of tomorrow, I mean I've jumped considerably forward into this session's future. For those of you who are watching this right after episode 3, you may notice I have a bunch of new fields, a bunch of new buildings, a little bit of stuff's moved around. I have a bunch more colonists. So I'll let you know what happened. I wanted to get the colony a little bit more advanced, and I wanted to see if I could make it stable, basically food, produce enough food for people to eat. Now at first glance, it might not look like it, like all my fields are barren, but it was working for a while. I actually had this colony up to 40 people. I'll tell you what I found after doing some scouting. I found, you see these tents up here? Each cluster of 3 tents is a bandit encampment. So you know those like 6 bandit groups that settled around town? A whole bunch of them settled in the same place. So I sent a bunch of my soldiers to take care of them, which was unfortunate, because if you look at the work group panel, I no longer have any of my original soldiers. That's right, they all died. Some of them died to bandit. Actually, I still have my original NCO, but I have no more soldiers. All my soldiers died either at the camp or defending the colony from the wave of 15 fishmen that attacked the colony while my soldiers were away. This is why all my fields are barren. After my colonists all scattered from the wrath of the fishmen took their time destroying all my fields. So now my colony's on the brink of starvation. I have no food at all. I'm foraging like a madman. And hopefully not too many people starve and resort to cannibalism, which is a literal thing that can happen. Oh, surprise, surprise, someone's starving. Yeah, but otherwise things are going great. So, in addition to the few fields I had here originally, I planted a couple more. They're all, I think, pumpkin and cabbage. Again, those fields were all utterly destroyed, so we're frantically planting, hoping to get a couple more harvests in before people start to starve. Here, while the colony was more stable, I had enough time to plant a field specifically to grow flax, which is turned into cloth here at the textile workshop, which I was also able to complete. And so you see I was able to complete some bolts of cloth, with which I was able to build more beds. So if you look around, you may notice that I have a bunch of beds scattered, like a bunch more beds scattered around the colony. And so more people have been able to sleep. I think fewer people are angry because they have to sleep in crappy conditions. I also see this tower here. This airship mast actually used to be where the textile workshop is now. The problem is, as my colony was expanding, I was getting buildings and I had to put a field there, so I actually didn't want things dropping in that area. So I dismantled the old airship mast and I built a new one further out here. So that's where we stand. The colony's population was up to 40. It went all the way down to 30 because I lost a whole bunch of people to various attacks and starvation. But I think we're okay now. I did have to juggle the work crews around a lot because a whole bunch of overseers got killed and workshops got abandoned. And look, there's human flesh in the stockpile. That doesn't necessarily mean it's in a literal stockpile, it's in the commodities list, which means somewhere on this map, a human body has been rendered down into meat. If my colonists get hungry enough, they might even try to eat it. Raw, which is worse, or cooked, which is slightly not as bad. Oh. Someone else has starved to death. Gilbert Golden Boot. Well, yeah, you're gonna see a lot of that. Someone's become interested in their genealogy. Adolphus Gruel. It seems that everyone who's researched the genealogy has uncovered some terrible secret which they don't want to share. That's a little bit unfortunate. One thing we do not have, one thing we are not scarce of though, is fishman corpses. Because there are like something like 20 of them in the colony or like in the surrounding countryside. So I'm gonna do my like daily or like twice weekly fishman sweep, which are fish people. I guess either the corpses have all been rendered down or they got moved out of the city limits. That's fine. Let's see, what kind of jobs do we have going on here? I have a whole bunch of clear terrain jobs pending. And everything else seems to be farming. Oh, what's this? Hey, someone has a result. Maybe this will be the good genealogy result. Maybe that was too much to ask. Even Godolphus Gruel has discovered something horrible about his family tree. Oh well. My colony is descending into madness and starvation. But you know what they say, stiff upper lip and all that. And they should also add, frantically scavenge the countryside for anything edible. Oh, are these berries? In fact, it might be best if I canceled some of these jobs. Oh, let's see. Immigrants. I actually don't need any more immigrants. And everyone here is starving, so I'm actually just going to... I'm going to take one skilled overseer, because I don't want to lose the prestige just from refusing them outright, but I definitely cannot afford to feed 3 more mouths. Right, Mrs. Goldenwick, welcome to my colony. Job number 1, don't starve. And good luck with that. As I was saying, I think I'm going to cancel some of these jobs since they're unimportant in the face of imminent starvation. I'm going to leave all the farm crops jobs running, of course. Probably don't need any more stone, so I'm going to cancel this job. Clear terrain versus... I'm going to actually cancel these flattened terrain jobs as well. Clear terrain is actually pretty important because those guys are digging up the blood spatters and gibs, or jibs. Oh god, food. I don't even need to think about that one. I would cancel these burial duty jobs if I could, but they are not cancelable. Oh, Phoebe Goldenhook has died of starvation. Oh, she was an overseer. Time to juggle the work crews. Oh, and by the way, this is my graveyard. It's full of corpses. And actually, I think I need a bigger graveyard. Let's make it a little bit more accessible. Graveyard number 3. Alright, Phoebe's work crew was dissolved, so Mrs. Goldenwick will get them. And which workshop was Phoebe in charge of? See, the textile workshop still has a crew, as does the chapel, as does the ceramics workshop, as does the kitchen, as does the carpentry. So, oh, okay. I guess Phoebe was not assigned to a workshop. Fair enough. I actually, so this plot was initially just growing flax. I was considering switching it over to food production after the first flax harvest came in. As you can see, we still have way more flax than we need. However, I've actually turned off this field. No, I haven't. Well, I'm going to turn it off right now. So I'm going to tell my colonists, don't bother farming this plot. I want you guys all to focus on these plots. the reason I'm doing that, and we can see an example in the bottom right, is the spoiled crops. If you don't have enough people tending the planted crops, some of them will die of neglect. So if you overextend your farming, your ability to farm, you'll actually produce less food. So I want to make sure that the plants that are planted are also properly tended. With what was this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 full-size plots going full-time, I was in fact producing approximately enough food to feed a colony of 40, on top of all of the other stuff, without any other major projects going on. So without any of the other workshops occupying laborers' time, people assigned to those workshops will instead do the spontaneous jobs like farming and hauling and foraging and stuff like that. So a colony of 40 can kind of subsist on 5 full-size plots that are producing food full-time. I say approximately because there were times when I had 0 food and there were times when I had a glut of food. And that's just kind of a side effect of the way the food system works. Colonists will try to eat once a day, no matter what. Right? So if you've got 40 colonists, you will need to be producing 40 food a day so that everyone can eat once. That's a little bit rough, and so it tends to be feast or famine. But at least I can say, for the most part, people were eating consistently. With all the changes in priorities and growing times and colonist AI, I think we have to occasionally reevaluate our assumptions. Like in older revisions of the game, it was sufficient to say 3 full-size plots could feed a colony of 20, and that was a balance. It stayed that way for a long time until there were balance tweaks. And so obviously those assumptions don't hold true forever. I mean, the game is still in development, it's still being actively balanced, and things change as side effects of other things being changed. So I think I found a balance. And then catastrophe befell my colony, so, you know, you have to roll with the punches, I guess. The webby punches of fishmen. Oh, someone else has died of starvation. Aubrey Brizentar. Oh. Aubrey curled up underneath a cot to die. And someone else is Sadie Hadlock. Oh, not only is she starving, she is gibbering like a madwoman. Clutching her head in agony. What's going on here? She watched someone eat human meat. Oh, I fear the mental health of my colony is suffering. Oh, here's somebody's skeleton. This may actually have been a bandit. I also suffered a couple of bandit raids. Here's Alfred Soderstout. He was an early casualty in the Fishman Wars of Day 8. Oh, by the way, I'm on Day 23. But I think we have a promising cabbage crop and pumpkin crop coming in. Oh, someone's not happy. Uriah Bronzehat. He's destroyed. Oh, well. He had a temper tantrum and destroyed a bone knife. He's brutish, a former criminal, so I guess I'm not too surprised. At least smashing it up will make him as a little bit less unhappy. Better that he just... So, when you kill fishmen, they drop their weapons, right? So, you can see I had a lot of fishmen attacks here. The coral club, the spine gun, a couple of bone knives. I don't mind that people destroy those things in anger. That is perfectly okay. My colonists can't use them. And better that they destroy these things than, like, buy precious, like, iron sheets and things. Which, by the way, I still do not have the infrastructure to make myself. If my entire colony wasn't frantically trying to grow food, I would be thinking about making a metalworks, with which I can process ores into metals and then also turn those metals into worked metal goods and stuff like that. But so long as people are still dying of starvation, that's going to have to wait. So we can see here, even though the display says I have like 8 of my 9 workers are idle, I actually have in the jobs list, I actually have a ton of farm jobs queued up, right? Every time one of these plants reaches maturity, it puts a farm job on the list. And I can't formally assign crews specifically to do that, but they'll pick them up spontaneously, which is what we can see happening here. So, I'm going to wait until food production and starvation has stabilized a little bit more, and maybe then I'll consider trying to build stuff again. Oh no, there's been some spoilage again. I'm trying to minimize spoilage. See these brown crops? This is what happens when a plant reaches the end of a growth stage, but no one tends it in time. And the problem with that is, of course, you spent all the time growing the crop up to whatever stage it was. It might not even have been the first stage. It might have been like the 3rd stage. You invested all that time into growing, and then it died and won't produce any food, and you have to dig it up and plant a new crop, which has to grow all over again. So spoilage is absolutely the worst thing that could happen to your crops. Let's turn off the roofs here. I have a kitchen crew going, but of course, when times were better, they were actually able to cook food. I actually managed to produce some stew. Not anymore, because any food I produce is immediately eaten by my starving colonists. Fishmen also did a number on some of the gabions I'd set up. Like this wall used to be contiguous. Oh, maybe I can show you the gabion line drawing tool now. So if you click and hold, okay, I may have overdone that a little bit, but now you can draw a whole line instead of having to click whatever, like 8 times to draw a short wall. Oh, someone's having nightmares about the Elder Dark. Birdie Crimblelock. Humbled by the infinite terror of the unimaginable and malign vastness of the cosmos. Let's see if we can find any old friends in the colonist name list. Huh. Well, I know for a fact Alfred Soldersnout is dead. I guess he's hasn't been removed from the upper-class colonist list. And I know Godolphus Gruel is also buried. Let's see. Actually, a lot of these guys are dead. I guess they... Oh, Hiram Brazentar. I really like that his portrait has turned into a skeleton, but I think that's actually a bit of a bug. He shouldn't appear on that list at all, given that he is buried here. Oh, what's this? A bandit wants to join our colony. Yeah, You know what? No. I can't feed the people who are here now. Let's go back to the worker list. Remember Grover Crew of Grover's Sweet Crew? Is he dead? No, he's still alive. Let's see what his disposition is like. Pretty good, all things considered. He's only fearful. His most recent memories are of successfully fleeing for his life. Oh, he made a friend. Oh, and he remembers when we had stew. His fondest memory was when there was food. Huh. He made friends with Sadie Hatlock twice. Incoming fishman attack. 6 raiders. Oh dear. Now our military is severely under strength at the moment. So I've got one. This is actually my original NCO. I've got 4 militia recruits, and then I've also got a secondary militia squad here. Yeah, okay, this should be sufficient. So the militia don't... the difference... Trained soldiers, when they fire their guns, they reload them between shots, right? Typically... Do I want more? No. The only thing I can afford is criminals, and I'm actually not going to take any. And save up the prestige. So, professional soldiers, that is colonists with the military training trait, they reload their guns at a certain rate. You know, some fraction of a second between each shot, presuming it's a single-shot weapon. Once you set up, oh dear, more advanced metal machining facilities, then you can upgrade some of those weapons into automatic fire, or weapons that can fire more shots between needing to be reloaded. No! My precious cabbage fields. Where are my soldiers? Oh, it's going to be a hungry, hungry week. Oh, Lord. Grover's Sweet Crew, stabbed in the back. One especially brave bandit from the crew have come to plunder. Screw you. And take my cogs from my cold dead hands. I don't know how carefully you read the bandit attack notification, but Grover's Sweet Crew was down to only 1 guy. You'll recall when the crew spawned in, it was initially 5 guys, but the leader actually deserted the crew to join my colony. That's Grover Sweet, who we looked up earlier. Oh, I see Godolphus Gruel isn't dead. And in my forays versus the bandit encampment up here, I actually killed a couple more of them. So Grover's Sweet Crew was actually reduced to 1 man. And that 1 man is now trying to rob my colony. Sense some pathfinding problems here. I appear only to have 1 soldier who's 1 soldier defending my colony. Oh, he did a number on my cabbage crop, though. I'm not happy about this. Clear this terrain. Butcher his corpse. And why is there a gold bar in the cabbage fields? Birdie Crimblelock has been beaten to... has been killed. What's going on? Someone take care of this fishman. Do I want more colonists? No, go away. I'll take the overseer. Yeah, so that's a little taste of what's going on with my colony now. we've hit some developmental problems. Well, I shouldn't say that. I think we had the food situation sorted out. But I think our military problems are now becoming a serious impediment to the growth of the colony. Well, I'm going to wrap up episode 4 here. So, thanks very much for watching. Oh, what do we got here? Yet another 4 bandits. Yeah, same as usual, shoot them on sight. So, as I was saying, thanks very much for watching. I hope this has been entertaining. This was episode 4 of my Revision 38 playthrough. The game is Clockwork Empires, published by Gaslamp Games. It's in early access. If you're interested in seeing how the game is developed, or maybe seeing ahead of time what sort of things devs are considering tweaking, or maybe interested in seeing what features might next be implemented, I encourage you to check out the forums, which is actually also a really good place to communicate with the devs and give them feedback and stuff. And you'll find they're generally pretty good about responding to that stuff. Well, once again, thanks for watching. Have a good one.